So, the traditional 12 steps were originally written for the book Alcoholics Anonymous, which was published in 1938, I believe. The steps were derived from steps used by an organization called the Oxford Group, which was an unabashedly religious group dedicated to the idea of correcting moral shortcomings and having people get sober. The 12 steps are popular across addiction recovery circles, where groups replace the word alcohol with whatever addiction is being addressed. And here they are. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. One of the innovations of Alcoholics Anonymous was the idea that each person would rely on a God of his or her own personal understanding. However, the 12 steps remain based on the idea that an individual must surrender his or her will to a personal God. This remains troublesome for many people with belief systems other than the traditional Judeo-Christian God. In contemporary census reports, more people identify as spiritual but not religious than identify as members of any one religious group. In 1938, spirituality was understood as being inseparable from religion. The influence of Eastern philosophy and religion, like Buddhism, Taoism, etc., was just beginning to come into the awareness of most Westerners, most Americans. The concepts of the Gnostic Christian texts were still literally buried in the sand. They weren't found for a decade at least. So in general, the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous were written for a much less diverse population than that which is served by the modern contemporary addiction recovery industry. So if you went to see a surgeon and he pulled a textbook from 1938 off his shelf to follow its directions, how confident would you feel? The 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous have helped millions of people, including myself, recover from what the Big Book calls a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Unfortunately, while precise numbers are hard to pin down, it's also likely that millions have not found lasting recovery yet from their addiction hell. The Big Book ends with these words: "We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us." So that being said, I think we should feel free to consider changes, additions, different concepts in recovery. I don't think that the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous would be offended at all by people looking to expand addiction recovery. I would like to humbly submit 12 steps for all addictions. Step 1. I don't know what I'm doing. I want help. Step 2. I accept help from all sources available to me, including the powers of love and logic. Step 3. I learn how to live in alignment with my own core values. Step 4. I thoroughly examine the regrets and resentments I have accumulated throughout my lifetime for the purpose of healing my heart. Step 5. I share my story with others. Step 6. I release any shame or guilt I have attached to the events of my story. Step 7. I release any anger I have attached to the events of my story. Step 8. I seek a new understanding of the people in my life by seeing through the eyes of compassion. Step 9. I seek ways to resolve all outstanding conflicts in my life through love, which is compassion, and logic, which is understanding. Step 10. I see myself with clarity as I continue to align my behavior with the nature of my own truth. Step 11. I continue to cultivate my understanding of and relationship with the source of universal love. Step 12. I serve my soul's true purpose through my service of others. Again, just a humble submission, an idea, 12 steps for all addictions and all belief systems. Thank you.